August 10 is just around the corner, and whispers have begun to circle Camp Nou like an electric current. Could Barcelona's golden boy, Marc Bernal, finally step onto the field again? At 18 years old, Bernal has already captivated La Masia's corridors with his dazzling footwork and precocious vision, only to vanish almost a year ago under the harsh lights of an ACL rupture. Now, with the Gamper trophy looming, the stage is set for a potential yet carefully orchestrated encore, one that promises to ignite fresh hope in the hearts of Blaugrana faithful everywhere. It was a balmy evening in August 2024 when Bernal's burgeoning dream hit a sudden, brutal snag. In what should have been a triumphant third appearance for the first team, one of those moments young players replay in their minds at night, he felt, instead of elation, a searing pain during a clash with Rayo Vallecano. The stadium's roar faded into a distant thunder as medical staff rushed in. An ACL tear? Confirmation arrived like a cold verdict, nearly a year on the sideline. For an 18-year-old whose feet seemed born to dance across turf, the diagnosis was both physical and psychological. A suspended animation of promise, a forced patience that tested every ounce of his resilience. Bernal's journey began much earlier, in La Masia's hallowed halls, where sunlight filters through stained glass windows onto pitches littered with his. From his first touch, coaches whispered that this boy possessed something rare, a sixth sense in the final third, a glide that belied his slight frame. By the time he wore the Barca crest, the buzz was palpable. Commentators extolled his grace, fans sketched his likeness in the stands. Yet fate's script flipped cruelly. One moment he was weaving through defences, the next he was staring at a ceiling in a sterile hospital ward, counting down to a hypothetical return that felt both inevitable and impossibly distant. The months that followed were a study in disciplined determination. On the current pre-season jaunt through Asia, Bernal can be found at dawn, lacing up shin guards, jogging laps as steam curls from his breath. But these sessions carry an undercurrent of caution. Coaching staff hover at the edge of training drills, radar eyes scanning for the slightest in his gait. Every pivot, every sprint is logged, analysed and sometimes paused. The phrase, "get him back too soon," hangs in the air like a warning bell, reminding all that this comeback must be sculpted, not rushed. According to Mundo Deportivo, the blueprint for Bernal's renaissance involves a cameo against Como in the Gamper trophy on August 10, just enough minutes to feel the grass under his boots and the crowd's thunder in his ears, yet brief enough to protect his knee from overstrain. Think of it as dipping a toe into cold water rather than cannonballing in. An invitation to rediscover joy in motion without diluting the progress achieved in rehabilitation. The condition that it makes sense, from his recovery standpoint, a phrase that underscores the delicate balance between ambition and prudence, which explains why Bernal won't feature in Barcelona's upcoming matches in South Korea. While teammates carve through defences and trade goals under stadium lights, he'll sit on the bench or stroll the turf alone, an observer in his own story, until the right moment arrives. No risk is worth a setback, the staff insist, especially when the treasure at stake is not a single match's glory, but the promise of a career still in its infancy. Hansi Flick has drawn the line in the sand, and no rush. Those two words will echo in every session, every medical check, every conversation about Bernal's minutes on the pitch. At 18, the clock is on his side, but the coming weeks represent a fragile window. Flick and his lieutenants will monitor him session by session, knowing that a single misstep, a skip drill, could shutter Bernal's return date like a slammed door. The mantra is simple: steady progress, patient oversight, and vigilance against complacency. In a perfect world, the Blaugrana envision holding him back from all competitive action until after the first international break in September, a full year since that fateful match with Rayo Vallecano. Imagine that milestone. 365 days of sweat, graft, and unyielding support, culminating in a triumphant return. But perfection is often a moving target, and if Bernal's recovery stays on the upward curve, The team stands ready to accelerate his reintroduction, no needless delays. Still, the overriding theme is equilibrium, no unnecessary risks, but no unjustified hesitation either. Bernal's story is not one of tragedy, but of tenacity. His knee may have buckled, but his spirit never did. Each quiet morning in training, each controlled sprint, brings him closer to that electric moment when he runs onto the pitch again, perhaps for just a few minutes, but long enough to remind everyone why they fell in love with him in the first place. So stay tuned. The next chapter in Marc Bernal's journey could begin under neon lights in the Gamper Trophy, or in the muted hush of a league match after the international win. Whatever form it takes, one thing is certain. The wait has only sharpened the anticipation, and the world will be watching, breath held, eager to witness the prodigy's next move. What happens on August 10? That, dear reader, is a question worth every heartbeat.